how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Chicago. I'm just checking the weather app here. It's kind of rainy, or not rainy, it's just this kind of mist or fog moved in from the lake here. My app's showing 79 degrees. We might get a stray shower here. Here's the Sweetwater here, and we're on Michigan Avenue here at Water Street here. Chris, how you doing there? Thanks for tuning in there. We streaming clear the rear there. Lambie D's in there. That's a good sign there. So thanks, everybody. Yeah, we'll get across the street here. Probably I'll just we'll head over towards the Ogden Slip there, check out the construction progress of the 400 North Lakeshore housing development there, and then we'll walk by the lake. It'll probably be kind of, see the tops of the towers are kind of in the mist there. It's really like, I guess there was fog. I saw on the news this morning there was fog in the western suburbs and southwest suburbs, so I guess it pushed this way. Yeah, it's more like a fog that's moving in over the lake. So we'll see what it looks like. And then we'll probably tootle in through Lakeshore East, come in Millennium Park, see if the symphony's practicing, and end it at the Bean there. We're gonna be walking for the next hour here. But 12:05. Prince, how you doing there? Michael, Lambie, yeah, how's everybody doing? Taco's tuning in there. Taco jalapeno salsa, how you doing there? Yeah, I hope you're having a good day here. Hey, somebody left the scooter there. There's the nice merchandise you can buy there. The gift shops. Bye Chicago, Chicago Sports. There's South Starbucks, got some outdoor seating here. But hey, we'll go by the Wrigley Building, we'll go by the Tribune, and then we'll head over towards the lake there. So hey, happy Wednesday, July the 9th. July! Hey, there's the Blackhawks sweaters there. We got the light. Yeah, Michael Anderson, how you doing there? Hey, thanks everybody for thinking about McRae there. I was actually, you guys beat me to the punch. Yesterday I was like, man, I haven't heard or seen from McRae in a while. Hope it's okay, everything's okay, but everybody messaged him. So we'll wait to see if he messages back. Hopefully everything's okay with McRae. I was talking with him before the 4th. I talked to him last Wednesday. We best messaged back and forth. Just normal stuff, just talking about the stream. He didn't let me know, but before that, I know, and this is always, you know, I do my best to handle things, you know, as delicately as possible. You know, I've been running, you know, my original TikTok account there, 2023, beginning of 2023, it got banned August of 2023, and then a lot of my mods, including Chris and Anita, were from that, including Diana and Sarah, who we've lost. And then you know, like Jay City Walking Girl used to be on my second account here, and she was a mod for a while, which I really appreciated. But then, you know, there's politics within the mod team. You know, anytime we run, all my mods volunteer. It's a thankless job. I couldn't do without you. I really appreciate everything you do. But even, it's political. You know, some people moderate more than others. Some people aren't available. Some people don't agree with other people's moderating style. And then they message me. And then, you know, McRae is a great guy. He was more outspoken to other people. And then, you know, same thing with, you know, people were concerned before that. To me, it was a great help when, you know, Michael was always doing with my location and the time and temp. But then Michael was so good at it that he was doing it all the time. And the other mods were like, why is Michael doing the time and temp? It's crowding out all the other comments, because, you know, it was pinned to the top there all the time. And so I messaged Michael and I said, hey, the other mods were thinking you're doing it too much there. And then, you know, feelings get hurt. And I'm just relaying messages. Same thing happened with Jay City Walking Girl. Sarah and Diana didn't, you know, maybe they got jealous of Jay City Walking Girl or vice versa. And I tried to politely Well, I handled J City Walking Girl wrong. It's amazing. Like, I was gonna talk to her, and I just removed her from the mod team, and she, like, within 5 minutes, she goes, "Why'd you remove from the mod team?" She found out because it sent her a message, and she immediately, and her feelings were hurt. And I was like, you know, you got your own channel. You don't need the mod for me. I really appreciate it. She wanted to mod for me, and she did, you know, from my perspective, she did a good job. But, you know, it becomes these political issues, like, just with different approaches to how to moderate. Same with McRae. Some people were worried he was, you know, McRae's great. We like McRae. I like McRae. He does snarky, sarcastic comments. Not everybody understands it, you know, and doesn't know where he's coming from. And then so I was just like, tone it down. And then I feel like I might have driven him away. So I might have, by just me messaging him and say, hey, I appreciate you moderating, just tone it down a little bit. It might have led to him taking a break or taking a vacation. But we'll see if he comes back. You know, thanks everybody for your concern about McRae. And we'll see how things are going in Indianapolis here. Here, Neapolitan Pizza. So if you just joined here, yeah, we're by the Wrigley building here. This is called Pioneer Plaza. Look, they got the taco trucks here. On Wednesdays, they have a farmer's market right here on, they call this Pioneer Plaza, I guess for Jean-Baptiste Point Dusable. And they got a farmer's market here. So we saw the farmer's market this morning in Lincoln Park. That was the Green City Market. That was on TikTok. This is the, what do they call this? This is the, I don't even know what they call this, but this is the one, the farmer's market here on Pioneer Plaza, right just north of the Apple store here, Michigan Avenue, you know, Tribune, Wrigley, Trump Tower. I think you can figure out where this is at here. And look, they got table seasoning, honey, bread, hummus there. You got all kinds of garlic spreads. Yeah, look at this. It smells great. You got roasted nuts to go. They got places to sit over here. Here's the 401 building. This used to be the Equitable building. I don't know what it's called now. There's the Realtor building. That's where Bob Newhart used to work. But they got jewelry. They got clothes. They got other stuff here. And look at this beautiful skyline you got here. It's kind of even more than a farmer's market. It's more like a high-end flea market here. Look at the clothes. Yeah, look at the clothes here, jewelry. So check it out here. So hey, we got ground to cover here. We're gonna head over to the Ogden Slip. I'm missing all the comments here, but thanks for tuning in, everybody there. Julie, yeah, never knew this was here. This is on Wednesdays, so I missed it last Wednesday, but we caught it this Wednesday here. So yeah, I discover new stuff all the time too. If Michael's tuning in there, Julie. Yeah. So it's between 10 and 2. I saw it this morning, between 10 and 2 on Wednesdays. I'm sure if you search online, you'll be able to find out more information. I know I don't know all the information. So here we'll go by the Museum of Ice Cream, Blue Bottle Coffee, Foxtrot, which is not open now. Never can tell. I'm sad to report that Colores Mexicanos looks like it closed on Michigan Avenue. And we lost the Chick-fil-A at State and Lake. We were joking. People were joking. I was like, what a prominent location. Somebody was like, that's not a good location. There's all kinds of weird things that go on underneath the tracks there. Hey, we got a band. Yeah, this happened last year. So, hey, let's check out the band. I'm glad I went this way. I guess at lunchtime, they have a band sometimes here in front of the NBC Tower. Isn't it amazing how much stuff goes on in the city in the summertime? So much activities jam-packed in just a few months here. I'm just walking around my lunch break. I had no idea this band was here. We saw a band here last year, and so we'll cover it here a little bit. Yeah, Tom Petty cover here. I like their suits.
Lots of places to run to. Can't see how to die. Try to sing. One person
This is Tom Petty.
Yeah.
They
Excellent.
heartbroke us.
Yeah, that guitar was great.
Since we're in Chicago, we gotta do an institution of a song.
Yeah.
That's a bad Leroy Brown.
Yeah.
Jim Croce we were
Jim
talking
Croce.
about.
Yeah, excellent.
Now, south side of Chicago is the baddest spot in town. And if you go down there, better just beware of a man named Leroy Brown. Now, Leroy, more than trouble. You see, stand about a 6'4". And all the downtown ladies got the treetop lover on the man just call the surf. You know what? Leroy Brown, baddest man in the whole damn town. Bad man hope you home, meaner than a junkyard dog. Now Leroy, he a gambler, and I like his fancy clothes. And I like to whip his diamond rings from everybody's home. I got a custom guys and dance home. I got a Silverado too. You got a 32 gun in his pocket for ball. You got a razor in his shoe. You know why? 'Cause it's bad Leroy Brown, baddest man in the whole damn town. Bad man who's home, meaner than a junkyard dog. Mikey Noonan, come on.
Yeah, Tickle Those Ivories. Yeah, what a great song here. People are dancing to the music here. Yeah, isn't that great? Thanks everybody for tuning in here. Yeah, the kids went over here to hear the concert there. We saw the kids in the line there. And here goes the Big Bus Chicago. Isn't this nice? They got a band here in front of the NBC Tower here at lunchtime. And thanks for tuning in here. We're in Chicago.
Not Wednesday. A week ago.
And I got to keep moving here. We're never going to get to our destination. Every day we encounter things I didn't anticipate there. And we got a great band there. We went through the farmer's market there. So here, let's head over towards the Ogden Slip there. And we might get another concert if they might be practicing for this Granite Park Symphony Orchestra there. We get to Millennium Park, but we'll never get there because I just want to sit there and listen to that band there. Yeah, isn't that great there? Hey, thanks for tuning in here. We're on Illinois Street. We'll head over to Columbus Drive here. There, look at the Tribune, the Wrigley. Look how the top of the Trump Tower is in the fog there. We got this fog that's kind of moved in. Look at the top of the St. Regis is in the fog there too. So we get some interesting views here. We'll head over to the lakefront. Hey, free concert there. Yeah, isn't that nice? Christopher's tuning in. Dolores Scott's tuning in there. Yeah, you like the leisure suits? Yeah, Johnny and the leisure shoots. I'm glad it's a good reference there. Scott's tuning in from Charlotte. That's awesome. Thanks for tuning in there. Yeah. So here's the Sheridan. The top of the St. Regis is in the fog there. Everywhere you go, something's going on here. Summertime in Chicago. We got about 79 degrees. It's not bad at all. And it's a little muggy, but not extremely overbearingly hot. And so we're about to cross here. Here's your parking rates here for hotel parking. This is Columbus Drive here. You see how you got the steps to go up the multi-levels of Chicago. Look how you can look back to the Wrigley and the Tribune. Hey, we'll walk with the dogs here. We're crossing the street here, away dog. And heading to clouds, you got it. Yeah, Jim Croce. Yeah, isn't that nice? Jim Croce, one of my favorite classic rock singers there. Bad Leroy Brown, Ogden Plaza here. We'll head down Illinois and we'll cut up the Ogden Slip there. But here we got the AMC theaters here, the X Bowl. This is Park Drive here. There's an interesting building, housing. There's the Lowe's Hotel and other things there. Yeah, we'll head through Streeterville. Look at the housing here. Amazing, dense amount of densely populated area here. Tuning in from the south into the loop there. Yeah, thanks for tuning in there. Taco. We went through there yesterday. We went down to Chinatown. We got reruns on YouTube and TikTok. I posted that. Thanks everybody tuning in for that. And yeah, here's the AMC here. There's a bowling alley. There's arcades in there. And there's people sitting outside. There, Windy City, wow. Central MT, how you doing there? Is that Montana? Sierra Johnson? Lake County, thanks for tuning in. That's great. How you doing there? Jigga Richardson, how you doing? Yeah, Mia's tuning in there. So here's the Paris Baguette Bakery here. Go by the Mattress Warehouse. Yeah, look at this housing. And there you can see, you can't even see the top of the St. Regis there. The roads. But we'll get to the Ogden Slip here. We go through here many times. We'll check on the construction progress of the 400 North Lakeshore. Look at the beans. See, you got the big bean, you got the baby beans, and all the snow globes. There's a souvenir shop here. There's a deli. Yeah. Canoes tuning in from Vegas. How you doing there? How's the tourism in Vegas? Is it being affected at all by the tariffs? I'm interested because I saw a video of San Antonio Riverwalk, and they people that live in San Antonio. I need to talk to Retro Route. I follow Retro Route. He covers the San Antonio Riverwalk area. I haven't seen him much lately. He used to always walk around the San Antonio Riverwalk. They said there's less tourism this year. Isn't it interesting? We're losing international tourists. And do you blame international tourists for not wanting to visit America under this administration? Here we'll go McClurg Court, Illinois. And here, let's cross the street here. Hey, look at you. There's the St. Regis. You can't even see the top of it. Yeah, Sweet Home Chicago there. Bangladesh is tuning in. Thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in from Bangladesh. That is awesome. And welcome to Chicago. Here we got about 79 degrees Fahrenheit. What is that? 20 plus Celsius centigrade. We'll head. There's new construction of a high-rise residential tower going up here in Streeterville, Chicago, the downtown central business district area. We'll go over towards Lake Michigan. We'll go down. This is called the Ogden Slip, and so we'll give you an overview here. See, that heads out to the mouth of the Chicago River, and then there's a lock to get you to the lake. We'll kind of check it out. But see this building here, this is the 400 North Lakeshore. It's going to be taller than this building eventually. It'll start to corkscrew a little bit, not as much as the Chicago Spire. This is the former Calatrava Spire site that never came to fruition, but we'll go by Winters Jazz Club, Dorita, Fine Art Gallery. Yeah, Winters Jazz Club, and there's Robert's Pizza, which is right down here, and we'll check out this development construction site here, and then we'll head towards Millennium Park if I got time. Here we got 12:25. Like always, I start out with a general itinerary that what I can make in an hour, and then we get bands playing and other things going on that always distract me and eat up my time at my lunch hour here, but that's fine. Great filming that band there, playing the cover songs of Jim Croce and Tom Petty there. But hey, there's the 400 North Lakeshore. Is the camera straight here? We just went by Robert's Pizza. Robert's Pizza is a great pizza option here. I ate there with Grim Evil there last fall. We liked it. Yeah. And the Burbs. Sienna's tuning in there. Thanks, Sienna Johnson there. Sean, how you doing there? Denise. Let's see. I'm missing some comments here. Yeah, squirrel. We'll see a squirrel. Yeah, usually a squirrel hijacks my live there. International viewers there. Elephant and Castle there. Dan Yu Jr. there. Yeah, thanks everybody. Rain for 3 more days. Yeah, here's Dorita. Dorita, there he is, right? Oh no, that's not him. Is that Dorita? I think that's Dorita. There he is. There's the artist right there. So there, we'll show you his. Here he is. Alexandru Dorita, award-winning artist. There he is. And right there. And he went to the United Nations here. You see some of his artwork there. I like the, it's like the girl with the pearl earring there with the, but it's iPhones, iPods there. And there he is. Sometimes he raves to us. There's Jarita there. There's the artist here on the Ogden Slip here. Here's Pinch Mediterranean Grill. Soft serve ice cream here. You can sit outside here. Mediterranean Grill here, Pinched. Sit right by the Innisfree here. This classic yacht that you could take out here and go on a 3-hour tour out in the river or the lake there. Hubert, how you doing there? Yeah, city's looking green and lush in the summertime. Hey, look, here it is. Here's the 400 North Lakeshore. I can't really fit it in. It's getting so tall. So here, let's count the stories. Let's see how many stories are up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21 on the curtain wall. And then we got 22, 23, 24, 25, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. We'll say 35 stories. They're about 35 stories tall there on the 400 North Lakeshore development site here. This is residential housing. Eventually, there's planned to be 2 towers. They haven't even started the other one. There's much discussion about it, whether they're even going to start it or not. They'll probably build this one first and then start on the other one while they're selling this one. And here, yeah, we'll head around. But here, Chicago, Illinois, we got about 79 degrees on Wednesday, July the 9th here, 2025, and we're watching this construction site here. We'll walk right across the Chicago River. We'll head to Lakeshore East, and we'll go up to Millennium Park there. Yeah, Bangladesh. I would love to visit Bangladesh. Unfortunately, in Trump's America, I'm not wealthy enough to travel a lot. And I wasn't wealthy in Biden's America either. So, I'll make it bipartisan here, And because I live and show how I live in this expensive city, I pretty much work and just can barely cover my expenses. But hey, we enjoy ourselves nonetheless as much as we can here. Ain't much money, but honey, ain't we got fun? There's the Ogden Slip. See how you can look back to the Tribune Tower. And it'll be fun. It'll be famous. It'll be funny once, eventually, maybe not this year or next year, maybe not within 10 years, but eventually within our lifetimes, there will be another economic downturn. And then it'll be humorous watching all these supposedly TikTok famous people like me living in tents underneath bridges, live streaming our wonderful American experience here. So here's here's the Ogden Slip, and here's the 400 North Lakeshore development here. I came, see how close it is to the river there. And here, see, there's where the second tower is supposed to go. You see the St. Regis there is obscured by clouds. We're underneath the Dusable Lakeshore Drive here, just north of the Chicago River and Wacker. See, there's the Sea Dog heading through the river there. And we'll check out this, look at that crane. 400 North Lakeshore development site here, Chicago, Illinois, on July the 9th, 2025 here. Yeah, see it active. Look, they're digging a hole there. Right there where that pile of dirt is pretty much where the second tower is supposed to go here. And very active construction site here. They start early, work around, they don't work 24/7, but there's the Roach Coach, the food truck. Anybody ever get food from a Roach Coach? I gotta walk around these puddles. Some water collected here underneath the Lakeshore Drive here, but here we'll circle around here. I know I'm missing comments here. Let's see. Let me get back. Just let me go over to here. Let me go over to here, and then we'll swing around here. Yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in here. So Christopher Dotson, this is the 400 North Lakeshore development site. We've been filming this, and it's a residential tower. It was supposed to be where the College Rob Aspire was supposed to go. They were going to build that in 2007, 2008, but the world financial crisis ended that, the housing crisis, and it sat vacant for 15 years. They built a hole. There was a hole in the foundation. There was a hole for the foundation that filled up with water that they filled in to build this thing. And here we'll go down here. There we get a good view of it here. So here, the 400 North Lakeshore development site here in Chicago on July the 9th here, 2025 here. And yeah, we'll make it through there. Yeah, we'll get through this. Thanks everybody for having a nice discussion there. And here, we'll keep on going. Here, we'll cross the Chicago River here. It's kind of foggy. It wasn't foggy. It wasn't this foggy this morning. But here's a boat. Here's a large barge. Architectural tour heading through here. Oh no, it's a small barge. It's a little bitty baby barge. It wasn't even. There's much bigger barges than this. It's called the Voyager. Look at that little tour boat there. And they got a foggy day to tour the. You can't even see. Look. This is what Chicago skyline would look if the Trump Tower was much shorter. And there's the St. Regis into the clouds. That's Lakeshore East. We're heading there. This is Streeterville. And then if I get further back, we'll be able to see the 400, yeah, North Lakeshore. Short and wide, the short and wide barge there. There's where you can rent kayaks. Right there. And there's the Taco Rio restaurant. And then if we look this way, there's the 400 North Lakeshore right there, residential housing. And there's Navy Piers that way. It's hard to see. There's the tip of Navy Pier right there. So hey, we'll head down the steps, get this little water taxi going by. Yeah, it's foggy. Very foggy out today here. So here, we'll head down the stairs. Yeah, I know. I saw your comment, Kevin. I was thinking the same thing. People want to, you know, we'll put the Sun-Times building back there. You know, that's what used to be there. It was the Sun-Times newspaper building. You can see it in the old Bob Newhart sitcom intro there. But here, see if we... is this water taxi? There it is. I thought that water taxi was going to head right through here. Watch this water. Hey, there's somebody fishing right there. So this is, yeah, that's the 400 North Lakeshore there. And there's somebody's fishing here. Here's the water taxi heading under the Dusable Michigan Avenue Bridge. No, the Lakeshore Drive, Dusable Lakeshore Drive Bridge here, Chicago, Illinois. See, if you talk as much as me, you always saying the wrong stuff. My brain, my mouth moves faster than my brain can fill in the gaps here. Yeah. I won't be careful. I'll live life dangerously. We'll fall in the lake. No, I appreciate that. Thanks for the well wishes there. Here's yeah, we're they got all these mosaics about Chicago's history there. Hey, look, they got the jet ski in the river. That's kind of funny. There's water skiing there. Yeah, that's nice. There's all the boats. See, there's Fort Dearborn, the old bridges, and hey, this is the old Riverside, the old amusement park there. Some of the industrial stuff that used to be along the river. Chinatown, I just posted that video, the Puitok Center. We were just there yesterday. These are all the Century of Progress, World's Fair, Buckingham Fountain, the Adler Planetarium, there, Wrigley Chewing Gum there. Yeah, there we go. The old railroads and canals and World's Columbian Exposition. Here we'll head out to the lakefront of Chicago. We got 1236. Thanks everybody for tuning in. There's the Ferris wheel at Navy Pier there. And here's the Anita D. Yeah. Hey, your boyfriend's apartment. Hey, your boyfriend lives in a nice area here. Lakeshore East here. Well, that's still in Streeterville. That's Lake Point Tower, which is when you see that when you go to Navy Pier. Here's the Anita D. There's the Coast Guard station. And here we'll head over to Dusable Harbor. I guess this is where Nick Koiken and Overtime Seb met Drew Drzezinskis and Ernie there. I don't know who else showed up. I missed it on last Saturday. They shot fireworks there at Navy Pier on the 5th of July. And 100 degrees. 100 degrees in the Mojave Desert. It's finally hot there. That's good. I'm sure it's been hot there for a while. So hey, thanks to Michael, D. Michael, thanks for tuning in there. Back to the heat. Yeah, go to the beach. So here's, yeah, the boat harbor here. You got these big jacks, which are like, I guess they can use these in harbors and for erosion control and things like that, but they just got one sitting here. They got some other ones over there. There, yeah, let's walk across the boats here. Thanks, son. Thanks for tuning in there. Appreciate it. Yeah, if you like this, give me a thumbs up there. Hit the like button on the YouTube. Helps more people discover this content and see the beauty of the big bad city here. The big bad city of Chicago. Here's Dusable Harbor. Yeah, all the boats. Remember, we come here in the wintertime, there's no boats, and now look, it's a big parking lot for boats. You get your divvy bike here. This is Dusable Harbor. We're Lakeshore East. We're south of the Chicago River. See, there's some of that's all residential housing. There's your boyfriend's apartment there in this area here, probably. I think that's what you're alluding to there. And look at the size of these boats. Yeah, we got some portalettes here. Sally's tuning in there. Yeah, thanks for the thumbs up, Denise. Julie. Yeah, your boyfriend's back. That's good. Yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in here. We'll go by. There's this outdoor cafe here. There's Gene Machine Boat. See how they got secure access here. Dock B. There, $977K for just under $1 million. This could be yours there. You can scan that QR code. Manitowoc Marina, that's what it says. Prestige 500. I think we saw a boat like this docked at the Tiny Tap there on Saturday. Great gelato. Oh, right here? Yeah, let's check it out here. What's this called? Michelle, Cafe Michelle, is that what they call this? I can't remember. Bada Bing 3, that's Bada Bing 3, that's the name of that boat. Bada Bing. Baba Booey. But here, yeah, this is the, you got margaritas, gelato. What is this called? Cafe Michelle, Cafe Michelle. Right here. And Dusable Harbor here. Sit here. Hey, the dog likes it. So yeah, that's the Columbia Yacht Club over there. You can join that. It's always docked there, even in the winter. If you join it, they got a restaurant and things like that. So hey, we'll head by Cafe Michelle here. Let's head through Lakeshore East and we'll pop out at Millennium Park here. Yeah, Dusable Harbor, there you go. The Disabled Harbor. Della, how you doing there? Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to the Lunch Bunch here. Yeah, everybody welcome my Aunt Della here. Yeah, it's kind of foggy here today, but at least it's not raining. So we'll head through. This is underneath the bike path, the Lakeshore bike path. And we'll head into Lakeshore East here. And then we'll go right back to 2 days ago, we caught the tail end of a practice concert there in Millennium Park. We'll see if they're practicing for the Grand Park Orchestra again. We'll head through this little park here in Lakeshore East. This is underneath Lakeshore Drive here. See how they park underneath here. You can ride a bike. Hey, he's got a nice longboard there. I don't know what's in these things. Can you use those lock boxes? That's interesting. Yeah, Michael. Thanks for saying hello to my Aunt Della there, tuning in from Indiana. That's great. Dolores. Yeah, the wind's picking up. Yeah, it's blowing this fly. The breeze feels nice. There's a little breeze. We'll head up through this Cascade Park here, or whatever they call it, Cascade Park. We'll head up to Lakeshore East here. Yeah, the Arizona heat, 115. Wow, Arizona, you got your hot weather there. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, so here's Cascade Park. Hey, somebody's using it. There's a little dog in there with the owner there. And yeah, we'll head up to Cascade Park here. Yeah, 68's not bad. We'll take it. I'm misquoting the temperature. We're only like 70 degrees. It feels warmer. It feels like 80. I don't know why. Let me check my other phone to make sure I get this right. Hold on a second here. No, we're 78 degrees. We're almost 80. But yeah, somebody's 69. It's not us. We're almost 80 degrees here. It feels like 80 degrees with the humidity in the air, as you can see. But hey, we'll ramp up here. We'll look at all this housing they built in the last 10 years or so here. When I moved here in 1999, this was a 3-hole golf course, driving range. It was land bank from when it was a railroad yard. There was plans since the 1920s to use the air rights, but then the stock market crashed and then capital built up and they wanted to build it again in the 60s. It would have been a modernist Mies van der Rohe looking thing, and then that fell through, and then the capital built up again in the 2000s, and after 9/11, early 2000s, they finally started building. Eventually 2009 they built the St. Regis, which we'll see, the tallest building in this area. And then they built, these were here earlier though. These were here from the 60s and 70s. Some of the stuff when Lakeshore Drive used to make 2 sharp angles before they straighten out the curve there, or added the curve. But here we'll head over into Lakeshore East here. Yeah. So Della, Michael Anderson lives in Ohio. You live in Indiana there. That's good. We got people, friends and moderators, and people tune in from all over the world. There's somebody tuning in from Bangladesh. We get people tuning in from India and all over the world, Europe and Africa. It's great. South America. We're all connected here. YouTube. Here's yeah, so this is not the ground. We're about 60 feet in the air here. There's a parking deck underneath us for all these buildings, and it looks like a street, but you see how that's the real ground. We're actually in the air here on top of a parking deck, and this is the Lakeshore East Park here. They got the fountains on. I'm lazy. Let's see if we can take the elevator here. I'll hit the button here and we'll take the elevator down to the park because I'm tired of walking. Hey, remember we came here in the spring and all the tulips were out. They still got some nice flowers. Hey, here comes the elevator. Good. Hey, there I am. How you doing, everybody? Thanks for tuning in there. Hey, good. Heading out here. See, there's a swimming pool in that dome there. Hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm gonna catch it. It doesn't give you much time there. We got to really be on the spot here. But here, let's. Yeah, we'll be coming here. I almost didn't catch it either because the door wants to close so fast. So here, we'll head down. I'm filming this way, so. Hey, we'll head down here. Hey, the shore ham, yeah, what nice address there. See the steps that come down here. They got the access to parking. Hey, the door open over here. Oh, what a cute dog there. Yeah, yeah, there he goes. Yeah. So hey, we made it back outside. Yeah, let's get across the street here real quickly. So there's the St. Regis. You can't see the top of it because of the fog, but we can see the fountains here. 12:45. Thanks for tuning in here. Yeah, we'll go by the fountains here. This is called, I call this Lakeshore East Park. I don't know if it has an official name different than that. It's nice when they turn on these fountains here in the summertime. We walk along here, and this is pretty close to where I work here. Yeah, a little hidden neighborhood. They Lakeshore East. They used to call it Chicago's New East Side, but then they kind of rebranded it as Lakeshore East. And just like Streeterville, it's east of Michigan Avenue, between the lake and Michigan Avenue, but it's south of the river here. And This is a really nice park, well used. They got a dog park here. They got playgrounds with a splash pad here. They got these fountains. There's a Mariano's grocery store over here. So you got grocery store. And there's Jim's World Academy. It's a private school. It's pretty expensive, but as you can imagine, a lot of the people that can afford to rent or buy condos in this area can afford to send their kids to private school. And the Jim's World Academy is right there. That's it right there. It's a school. And there's the St. Regis. It's a hotel at the bottom, and there's condos at the top. A lot of these are luxury rental. And here we'll head up the stairs here, and we'll go right into Millennium Park here. Living large, yeah, an outdoor elevator. They had an outdoor escalator at the end of Illinois Street, but it only worked about 6 months, 10 years ago, and it hasn't worked since. And they completely blocked it off and covered it up. So I've seen outdoor escalators in Japan, but I haven't seen them much in the States for obvious reasons. But here's Albion the Park here. It's a Greek restaurant. See, there's the St. Regis there. There's the Aqua and the Aeon. Look at the Aeon's completely in the fog. Can't even see the top of these buildings. What's it like living downtown? Okay, so I live in Lincoln Park. I live 3 miles north of the downtown. Lincoln Park's more residential. It's more more mansions and townhomes and, you know, a more traditional neighborhood. There's some people tuning in there. Significant others live here that you can ask them how they like living in Lakeshore East. Positive, negative, everything. That's you're not going to nail me down on, you know, living downtown's great. You're close to transit, easy to get to the airports because you can just hop on either the Orange Line or Blue Line, get to O'Hare or Midway. You're near the lake here. But housing is really expensive downtown. Sometimes you want to get out of the downtown. That's why I live in Lincoln Park. It's close enough that I can walk to downtown but not live in the downtown, because sometimes you want to get out of the downtown. At least I do, because I work downtown. And I had people that lived across the street from where they worked. This is before the pandemic, when you actually had to show up to work. And they ended up not liking it, because if you were late to work, people knew that you lived across the street and there was no excuse. You couldn't blame it on traffic or a traffic jam or anything, you know, or you were stuck on the train. You just, you know. But here we'll cross the street here. This is, normally you got an amazing view to the Sears Tower, but the Sears Tower is almost completely in the fog here. This is Randolph Street, and we'll cross into Grant Park first. There's the Cancer Survivors Monument. Della, I came here with my mom. She got to see this before she passed, and of course she was in remission then, but it's still kind of a emotionally significant spot for me, this Cancer Survivors Park. And there's so many people we've lost to this horrible disease that people still deal with. I have friends and followers we've lost. Some of my moderators, not the cancer, but there's other people that tune in that are dealing with cancer and other things, and our heart goes out to you because we know how hard it is. But here, we'll head over into Maggie Daley Park. I got 10 minutes. I wasn't expecting to see that band. If you rewind, if you missed it, we saw a cover band doing Tom Petty and Jim Croce songs, and I couldn't resist it. And I would already be in the band show. Every time I stream, there's stuff I encounter that I don't expect to see that throws me off course. It didn't really throw me off course. It just, I spent 5 minutes there just filming the band, but it was worth it. Maybe I should have just stayed there, but you know me, I like to keep moving. But here, we'll see if we can get across the pedestrian bridge, and we'll head right down into Millennium Park there. Hey, there's the breeze there. Maggie Daley Park here. We'll go by what used to be the ice skating ribbon. It's still there. They just do it in the wintertime. In the summertime, you can do scooters and do the climbing wall. Yeah, Chicago's the third largest city. The first largest is New York City, metropolitan-wise. Second is Los Angeles. Third is Chicago. Houston's still the fourth metropolitan. Chicago's 9.5 million metropolitan. I think Houston's around 6.5, 7 million. Dallas-Fort Worth is about 6.5, 7 metropolitan. The actual city of Chicago is about 2.7 million, 2.65, 2.7. I think Houston's about 2.5 million. So it is possible within our lifetime, Houston city population might surpass Chicago, unless Chicago rebounds to its nadir 3.5 million city population, which happened around 1950 or 1960. But here's Maggie Daley. This is the ice skating ribbon at Maggie Daley Park. Maggie Daley was the wife of Richard M. Daley, the second mayor Daley of Chicago. His father was, of course, Richard J. Daley. Hey, they added a bench here. Look at that. They added some rocks here. How you doing? It looks nice. And here's the ice skating ribbon. But hey, there's people using the climbing wall. Look at that. Yeah, you come here and test out your climbing skills here. It's a pretty extensive climbing wall. Wraps all around there. And it looks like an iceberg in wintertime. Yeah, the fog. We see the skyline with the fog. It'll be interesting crossing the BP bridge there into Millennium Park, because we'll get the skyline with the fog here. And normally you can see the Sears Tower, but you can't even see it. How you doing? Are you talking to them? Okay, talking to them. Okay, he's talking to them. Okay. There you go. Yeah, Chicago was voted the best downtown in the United States for the past 8 years. I think Condé Nast did that. Yeah, thanks the Lords for the good info. So, yeah, we'll head around here. Houston, Texas. Dave, how you doing there? Yeah, we got about 79 degrees. It's just under 80 degrees. It's been pleasantly mild this week compared to Saturday when I covered the NASCAR, that street race. Of course, Saturday and Sunday, there was a race on Sunday and a race on Saturday. It was 95, 92 degrees, which I know is nothing compared to Houston there. You got upper 90s. I have family that lives in the Woodlands, so I was in the Houston area in June. I actually did some live streaming in the Woodlands in Spring, Texas, and we went down to Herman Park by Rice University and actually filmed some in Rice University too. But yeah, it was hot, it rained every day, but then the sun would come out, it'd get steamy. But we just got beautiful summer here in Chicago. We're going to head across this pedestrian bridge and we'll head into Millennium Park. We're heading towards the Bean here. And this is my lunch walk here. But hey, thanks for tuning in there. Thanks to my mods. Thanks everybody. If I missed your comment there, I always miss comments there. Yeah, NASCAR was crazy. Did you see that? That was nice. We got some footage there on TikTok. And even on YouTube, there's an hour long before the race. I kind of gave an overview of the course, and we can see the cars practicing, doing their seating there with the pole, and we can still hear the rev of the engines and things like that. See, there's some picnic tables here. Here, we'll head straight through here. We got field trips and stuff. I work for an architecture engineering firm, so that's why I've lived in Chicago for over 26 years. Those entire 26 years I worked for various architecture and engineering firms, always in downtown Chicago, which Chicago still has a strong construction, engineering, architecture sector. We got a diversified economy, and Skidmore, Owings and Merrill, AECom bought up a bunch of architecture engineering firms, VOA Architects. I used to work for Tang and Associates, which is no longer, it got bought out. And here, look at that. We'll go over this bridge and we'll head into Millennium Park here. 12:55 in the PM, Chicago, Illinois here. And we got kind of foggy, so the skyline's a little different looking today, because normally you can see the Sears Tower, but it'll be in the fog today. There's this fog moving, and it wasn't here this morning. So here you see how they call this the BP bridge here. And we'll head around here. I don't want to work. I just want to beat on this drum all day. Alvin, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in there. Yeah. So there's the Blue Cross Blue Shield building. Yeah, I'm tired of walking. I'm going to give it up just because you gave that comment. My career's over. I'm tired of walking. I'm giving it up. I've been walking all day. I'm tired, but that don't befront me. I want bourbon. I want scotch. I want beer. We'll sing the old George Thorogood cover. Most of George Thorogood songs were covers of other blues bands. And then everybody thought it was his songs, but he just would re-record the old blues classics there. Yeah, Michael Rodriguez, look at the skyline there. Yeah, the sun's coming, so maybe 5 o'clock we'll be back on TikTok heading home. And if the sun's back out, we were at Oak Street Beach this morning. They were playing volleyball. If you tuned in on TikTok this morning. And we'll head back to the beach because I missed it yesterday. And if it's summertime, I hit the beach more often in the summertime. There's more people there. But here's the EP Bridge over Columbus Drive there. Yeah, they used portions of Columbus for the NASCAR. Again, watch my rerun there. Thanks everybody that checked it out live. And yeah, look at that Pittsfield building. That's the Pittsfield building right there. Yeah, it's a great sideline. Thanks Houston Dave there. Yeah, Houston's got some big buildings too there. We film that sometimes. Yeah, one for all for fun. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta take breaks. You gotta. Hey, they are doing a concert here. I figured they were doing a concert. So no matter which way I go, if I would have started, yeah, here's the concert. They got an opera singer here. Let's check this out here. So I'm going to be a few minutes late getting back to work here because that band delayed us, but I want to, when we're walking by here, I want to catch some of the practice. They're going to, tonight, I think after 6:30, they have a Grant Park Symphony plays in the park here, and they're practicing. Sounds like they're playing Beethoven or something here. Let's see, it's a full symphony orchestra with maybe operatic singing, I don't know. So here, this is the Pritzker Band Show, Millennium Park, and we'll head around and we'll get some of this practice. I would like to. I honestly don't have enough money to do that. I know people always give me suggestions for how to do things and how I should do things, and I've never gotten so much free advice. That's a good idea. I would like to, when I retire, just to travel to other cities. I got a full-time 40-hour job working here in Chicago, so I just cover Chicago. Sorry to disappoint you there. So hey, thanks for tuning in here. Welcome to Chicago. I do this pro bono, my own free time. Thanks everybody for giving a thumbs up there. I try to provide as much content for free as I can. I'm not getting rich off of being on TikTok or YouTube. I think I'm losing money. I'll be streaming from my tent underneath the bridge here pretty soon, the way things are going. I really feel I'm going to lose my job here. So here, here, Grant Park Music Festival. It stresses me out live streaming. I don't like dealing with the comments sometimes, so thanks for understanding. So there, the conductor is giving some instructions to the musicians here. Here's the sound booth. Just joined me in Chicago. This is the Pritzker Band Show. Here's the conductor. Here's the practice for the Grant Park Music Festival. I think tonight at 6:30 in Millennium Park here, they're going to have a free concert, and they're practicing for it. We caught them earlier on Monday. Here's the full orchestra here, so we'll catch them a little bit. I'm just gonna see if they're gonna play something here. Hey, they're gonna practice here. Hey, thanks for tuning in here, Chicago, Illinois. Here, the Pritzker Band Show. Here, we'll head up to the Bean, and then I got to get back to work here. Thanks for tuning in here, and yeah, we'll head over to the Bean here, and then we'll wrap this up. So hey, we got a bit of the concert there. Hey, see our next concert Wednesday, 6:30, free. This is the rehearsal. So there's restrooms. We got this nice, huge band show. You can bring a picnic. Bring a bottle of wine. Usually, it's funny. Sometimes they allow alcohol. Well, there is checkpoints, and it depends on. I've seen people bring wine in here, but don't say I said it's allowed or not. I don't know what the rules are. But here, just like people go to Ravinia and sit in the lawn, you can do it here. But here's the great Bean of Chicago. Thanks for staying on here. We made it to our destination. We tootled around Streeterville and Lakeshore East there. And now we're back here, Michigan Avenue, Millennium Park there. Yeah, we got a beautiful 79-degree day here, kind of foggy, but I guess the sun's gonna come back out there. So we'll try to head up to the beach after 5 o'clock on TikTok. Hey, look, everybody taking pictures here. So, a little bit of due to the Bean here. Cloudgate, Anish Kapoor is the artist there from London, England. They installed this in 2006. It's one of the most popular destinations here in Chicago. There's always a crowd here year-round during the day checking it out. You can sit over here. They got Casa Bonita. And yeah, look at the beautiful, see, it's just the setting. You see the buildings reflected in the Bean. You can see yourself in the Bean reflected there. It's Bean time. Yeah, the Bean hole. So Bo Fromm, I've shown the Bean hundreds of times. I'm sure you can find some content. I got to get back to work here. So you can imagine how tiring it gets, where no matter where you go, people are like, do this, do that, go left, go right. And I know you're just giving me feedback of what you want to see. But I got to get back to work here. And I'll get off before I get grumpy here. So thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. And have a great rest of your Wednesday. And we'll check in with you later here. We've been streaming for an hour here, so I'm going to sign off. Thanks, mods. You guys are great. Check out the beginning part. We saw a band there that covered Jim Croce and Tom Petty there, and that was fun. And we checked out 400 North Lakeshore. So see you after 5 on TikTok. Have a great day there. Appreciate everybody. Thanks a lot. And thanks Aunt Della and everybody else. All my mods there, Michael and all the Michaels and everybody else. We'll talk to you later here from Chicago. Yeah, it's foggy. We'll talk to you later. See you at Streerville, Sienna. Yeah, it's Van Sky there. D. Michael Christie. Okay, we'll talk to you later. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks.